because I want to get to our first guest, and we will invite him back onto the show. First time for this year. We welcome in Mr. Curtis Johnson, President of the A&M National Alumni Association. Curtis, Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Hey, Happy New Year, Bryan. Happy New Year, Marcus. Happy New Year, Kelvin. And looking down upon us is Kofi. So Happy New Year, Kofi. Amen. I know you continue to smile upon the ONG StrikeZone and well wishes for Florida A&M University.
Amen. Well, amen. Well, what an amazing weekend that the National Alumni Association spearheaded this weekend in the effort to raise funds to see if we can put a competitive package together that would help keep Coach Simmons. So before we go into that, the timeline, I was kind of just doing a little look back into the numbers of raising, but I want to start with when, for you, kind of give us a little background on the origins of when you were called, whether it be by AD Sykes or when you learned or when you had this feeling that, okay, we're going to have to do something here. Kind of give us a little background before we actually talk about the process of setting up the fund starting, but just the background of everything.
Right. I appreciate the opportunity, right? So like anything in Rattler Nation, you hear rumors, people start to buzz the phone calls, right? And you hear these things. And we got a phone call from AD Sykes, I did, and we had a conversation. That conversation, resulted in, hey, our coach has been made a formal offer. It's real, right? A lot of people were first like, is this a real offer? It is a real offer. And, those numbers are put on the table. And AD Sykes made a call to the National Alumni Association to say, hey, can you help? And it was not only a call to me, and I want to be real clear that it just wasn't the National Alumni Association. She picked up the phone and called the boosters. She called the foundation. She called the F Club, the 220 Club, the Alpha Z Kappas. She called everybody, right? Because it's all hands on deck at that point. And she asked us for a specific ask, and that was to say, hey, can the NAA contribute, $25,000, right, towards a package that she was putting together, right? Only she knew what needed and what was needed, so she asked us to contribute. So, I took that conversation on a Friday morning. It was somewhere around about 11 o'clock or so, maybe mid-morning. I immediately called an emergency meeting that evening, my board, and so I have to commend them because they jumped on a call that Friday when I sent out a notice through our system that we were having an emergency meeting. It was regarding the coach's contract, and it had already become a buzz on social media, so everyone's kind of aware of this. So we had a meeting that evening. It was a very open meeting. Our meetings are always very transparent. We had an open board meeting where our board members had discussion. We made a commitment as a national organization to support not only a $25,000 this year, but for at least 3 years. So we signed up for a 3-year commitment to make sure that at least $25,000 is coming from the NAA each of those 3 years. So it was a $75,000 commitment we made that night. And what was interesting that night is, we have a board of 20, 25 board members, right? When you add them all up. We had board members on there, but we had over 700, close to 700 people that tuned in just to hear what was going on. So that kind of really helped us to get the word out that, not only were we going to commit from the National Alumni Association, but we were asking Rattler Nation altogether. If you were a member of the NAA or not a paid member of the NAA, there was still a platform for you to give. And Rattler Nation showed up and Rattler Nation showed out. And so it was amazing that, I made a commitment that I'd come back in 24 hours. Of course, at Rattler Nation, they want stuff instantaneously. And we began to get the buzz somewhere around, I need to put some information out around 12 hours. And so 12 hours, we had done some amazing stuff as far as fundraising. I forget exactly what it was, but within 12 hours, we had already exceeded our goal. Let's just put it like that. And it just kept going and growing from that. And so, where we are right now and where the last numbers that we came in online, and I say online because we may have people that have mailed in checks. We may have people that have directly sent through the foundation to the account number we told them to send to. So we have to tally all of that up, right? And so we will make a full transparent of what we have. But what I can say is what came in through the online portal, through the website, and the link we gave was around $138,000 in about 48 hours. And so, not only did we meet our goal, we funded our goal of at least 75,000, right? And so, what we're going to do is we're going to have at our next board meeting, in which will be the third Wednesday of January, we will meet. All people are invited to come. We'll have a discussion. I'm going to have some recommendations of what we do with those funds. But like I said, we raise those funds, and this what needs to be real clear is that we raise funds for the football coaches compensation. And when I say coaches, it's not just one. What just doesn't Willie Simmons, right? It was what Willie Simmons brought to the AD is that, hey, I've got assistant coaches and people we hire, grad coaches, assistants, and they have salaries too that need to be met. And that was a part of his ask is how do we get monies, because he was concerned also about his assistant coaches and how do we put some monies together. And so the National Alumni Association, along with many other organizations, made a commitment. Our commitment was football coaches compensation. So that 25,000, when it comes time to address the football coaches in plural compensation, the NAA will be contributing $25,000 to that. And as they break it up as to who gets what, etc., they'll do that behind the scenes. But that bolus of money will help them address the coaches' compensation.
Okay. Just to highlight some of those numbers, and like I said, I was going back looking through the tweets. December 30th, 12:10 p.m. is when the post went out that 66,000 plus had been raised, which already you'd already surpassed that $25,000 mandate, right? And then 8 hours later, it had jumped to 92,000, just short of 93.
Right.
Then the next day, 12/11, it was already over 100,000 at 106,000. By 8 p.m. New Year's Eve, 126,000, 6 something. And then, of course, as you mentioned, January 1, probably maybe an hour and a half before we learned that Coach Simmons had turned in his resignation, it was 138,353. And then it's still going. So just to give people that growth in those numbers. And it was funny, you were talking with us offline. You were watching the numbers. What was it like watching those numbers in the smaller incremental time spans that you saw?
I'm just so proud of Rattler Nation, right? I was elected, but it's Rattler Nation. It's not me. It's the people, right, that had the faith and trust. And I'm just happy that they trust us as a National Alumni Association. We're going to have full transparency of every nickel, cent, dime that we have. We're going to make sure people understand exactly where that money goes because, and I said that before, Coach Simmons has moved on to a great opportunity and we wish him very well and his family, and that's great. But the challenge and the issue still resides at Florida A&M University of how do we compensate our head football coach along with the assistant coaches that make up a program that helped him become successful. Right. And so I'm just so happy that Rattler Nation trusts us to take this money. It will be put in an account that will not be earmarked and will not be commingled with other funds. And this money will be used directly for football coaches' compensation so that when we address this issue again, we got to hire a new coach. He's going to probably want to bring in a few additional staff members. Last time I checked, they get paid salaries, the coach, right? So we're going to be able to provide those funds to continue to boast Rattler football. at Florida University. And that's what really makes me so proud. I just wish that everyone could see what I saw. We're going to recognize some of those very top donors. I mean, we had one donor that gave an amazing amount of money, and I'm going to recognize that person, right? I'm going to recognize some of those top tier people. But when you look at it in summary, the totality, it was somewhere close to 800-900 transactions that came in, right? So it wasn't just like one person gave a lot of money. Yeah, we had one person gave a really significant amount, but it was a lot of people that gave from their heart. And I'm just honored to be able to serve as a servant leader of the National Alumni Association, one that believes in transparency, one that will make sure that people understand where their monies went. And I'm just happy that you guys are giving me an opportunity to share this, right? Because I hear the rumors, I hear the things out there, and Rattlers know that we were given to a program. Right. And Rattler football, like we say, is Rattler football today, Rattler football tomorrow, Rattler football forever.
Amen.
And so we have to support our program. And those things that Coach Simmons surfaced, when you get a counter offer, he put some things on the table and say, if you guys want to, these are the things that got to be done. And there were some things that we were not prepared for, that we got a good wake-up call. And I look forward to that conversation with Rattler Nation as a whole, that you'll learn over time that what we put together to try to secure the coach, but what we need to do in the future, because we're going to continue to have winning traditions at Florida University. And as you know, winning breeds success, and that success is going to attract people that's going to try to attract the talent away.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
So I want to know, this is going to be a compound question, right?
Yes, sir.
Because what you're doing is important, and I want to draw some things out. The first thing you kind of answered, but I just want to make sure. You said that 138K number was just online, so I'm assuming that didn't include any pledges. This is dollars in.
So let me be clear. The numbers we pulled in are straight cash dollars. We didn't take pledges. So they put their credit card down, they PayPal, whatever it is, hard cash. I don't think we had any crypto, but we had straight hard cash that came in, right? So we're sitting on 138 right now that will be put into an account that will be tailored. That we're creating a brand new account. Let's put it like that, at the FAMU Foundation. So we're going to move that money away from it, because here's what Kelvin, that we have to understand is that the National Alumni Association has always supported FAMU football. Yes. And this goes all the way back to 2017, and Greg Clark, some of those guys, they put together something called FAMU First. And so that we used that account because we had to spring into action literally within hours. So we knew we had an account. We know exactly when the first dollar hit. So we got all the transactions and the timestamp. So we knew what was in the account prior, and we knew what was in the account when we activated to go into aspects. So all of that money that came in under the auspices of supporting FAMU football coaches conversation, every last cent will be pulled off. And that will be put into that account. We're going to create a brand new account that'll have a brand new number, and that'll be entitled something around FAMU football coaches compensation. It'll be a totally separate account with a totally separate account number, and we'll keep that going. So we'll have basically two point, right? We'll have one for compensation, and we'll have our FAMU First account. And if I can say something about the FAMU First account, we have always supported Rattler football. And I just want Rattler Nation to know that this year alone, coming into the football season, we had about $45,000 that we had collected in the FAMU First account. And that was just from our national convention. So when we have our convention, and this year it's going to be in Tampa, Florida, we let people know, hey, if you want to contribute, you can contribute to account 2033, FAMU First. Well, what does that support? Coach and recruiting. If the coach needs to go on a recruiting trip and need some money there, if they need nutrition, if they need new uniforms and helmets and that, we give that money directly to the coach of the football team. So Willie got an amount, $45,000, that came from the National Alumni Association. And so he could use that money to plug some gaps. So we've always been, prone to support Rattler football, right? And you've heard the Rattler Strike Tours. There have been some chapters that have undertaken some of those Rattler Strike Tours to support that. So the NAA, is there to support it, right? But we also support a lot of other programs on campus. And that's what I'm really trying to get people to understand, is that we support football, but I got a lot of students right now that need $500, $1,000 just to register to keep moving through Florida University. And that's really our main focus, is to support all student scholarships up to including athletes that may need some support. But most cases, a lot of those guys are on scholarship. So they're taken care of, but we want to make sure that we're doing our bit as alumni to support the matriculation of students there. And so we've got a lot of pots. We got a lot of pots for people to contribute to. We try to stay in our lane. We try to support those other functions, 220, Rattler F Club, the boosters. We've done some joint programming. I mean, we are here to support all aspects of it, but they rang the bell. We answered. We had a platform immediately in place. We engaged it, and we committed in the full-pledged support of the FAMU National Alumni Association to say we'll sign up for 3 years, and we'll make sure at least you have $25,000 going forward each year for 3 years.
You did a beautiful job of going into the fact that what y'all do at the convention. I've had the pleasure of being able to see that. And
Right.
that that you fundraise all the time, which is why you had this platform and mechanism for people to use, and I think that was part of your success.
Right.
So moving on, the question is, now that we've seen that when you have a specific ask to Rattler Nation, and there's some trust and some credibility now that folks have invested in this thing. This is something that, how do we build, how does the NAA, how does the university at large, the foundation, which I know you can't speak for, but how do we take this possibility and what we've done here and make it an even larger scale?
Well, I want to thank you guys for giving me an opportunity to share this, right? Because I think people need to hear it. First and foremost, I sit also on the foundation board. The foundation board did some amazing stuff in putting together some numbers and some cash that was a part of the offer. And I'm going to let the chair of that board, Ms. Lisa LeBou, and them disclose that at however they want to. But I sit on that board, and I was a part of that emergency meeting that happened New Year's Day. Okay, or something, right? I mean, so we moved money, right, to make sure we matched this offer. So on New Year's Eve, I'm sorry, we met that Sunday at 5:00. But I can tell you that there were a lot of moving parts. And I think as we disclose more and people understand that this is what we did, and people are transparent and people understand where their money's went, I think that it just breeds a success to know that we can do this. I mean, I'm so proud of Rattler Nation. I don't take any credit for this. I just happen to be here. I activated. I've got great people on my team, my media and technology, my correspondent secretary, assistant correspondent secretary, my first, second, third VP, all of these guys, my Florida region, everybody activated. And we just knew what we needed to do, and we got behind it as a board. And we pledged the full faith and credibility of the National Alumni Association, which has done this before. I mean, you mentioned, our convention. We raised almost $350,000 in Illinois, and we're coming into Tampa, and I've got big goals for us to raise in Tampa. I want to raise $500,000 in Tampa at my national convention this year, and I think people would do it if we just continue to help them understand. And I think, I would challenge you guys as we move forward to help people understand some facts and some of the things you said earlier about facts and myths. I hear all this stuff. I'm on social just like you guys, right? And there's so much stuff that's not true and people don't understand. And I'm gonna challenge the administration and these boards I sit on and say, hey, we got to get facts out here. How much money did we really get from the Celebration Bowl? How much money did we get? Right? Because when people understand that you hear one thing in media, but I'm sitting on boards and I'm like, you guys, it may say $1 million, but that don't come to FAMU. That goes to the conference. Yes. And then it's broken down, and then you get a prorated part of being a champion, and then it goes throughout that. And so, my challenge in a good way is to say we tell the people more, give the people more, and the people will give us what we need to be successful. And I think the more we do that, I think that our fundraising efforts will go up because people just don't know. And they think one thing, and I just I'm going to lead the way by the National Alumni. That's what I have been charged to do as a leader, and get my board to get behind that. So that's what we are, Kelvin. And, like I said, we're going to have a full accounting, full reporting. We're not going to hide where that money is and what account it's in. And every time we give a $25,000 check, you might as well get ready to see my ugly face up there along with everybody else saying, commitment made, commitment kept, right? Now here's the money, right? And that's what I can promise you will happen as long as I'm sitting here as the NAA president.
Great. I'm gonna let Marcus go now, but I got some more leading questions if they don't cover it.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, thank you, Mr. Johnson, for coming on. I guess the two questions from a clarity standpoint, we have $138,000 collected. And that's from the electronic transactions and not necessarily counting anything that's mailed in or anything donated in cash, in hard cash, in tangible cash.
Donate directly to the foundation, right? Some people could have sent it through the foundation site to the actual account. So we put our link out. So when you clicked on that link we put out, that came through our portal at the NAA. So we were able to monitor that in real time.
Okay. And I guess since VPAD sites made different asks of different organizations and affinity groups and DSOs, is the 138,000 representative of the collective funds from all of those different DSOs, or just for the NAA? So there may be other pots of money through the Rattler F Club, through the 220 QB Club, through the other. So we don't have a total scope of everything that may have been collected through the various tentacles and vehicles.
That is absolutely correct. Okay. And thank you for clarifying that. This is just the National Alumni Association that's collected this 138,000 electronically.
Okay. And the second part of my question maybe is a little bit tied into what Kelvin asked a little bit before about how we go sustaining forward, something along these lines. But I guess my question is more retroactively, and perhaps it may be a question that's better suited for VP AD Sykes or Michael Smith. This was kind of a call to action, as you mentioned, but was there any thought or consideration or any foreshadowing that could have been done such that this could have been done perhaps at the beginning of 2023, or were there any communications such that we could have made this effort, or perhaps it was, but not at such a smaller scale, and then it just got magnified when Coach Simmons got another offer? But what could have been done? Is there any inkling or any warning sign or even any consideration to have some initiatives like this beforehand so that it doesn't happen when a Power 5 school makes an offer?
That's an excellent question. Here's how I look at it. I've been fortunate enough to be around a little bit, right? I've got a few mango seasons behind me, as they say. We've seen people, we can just look just last year to what happened to Dion, right? And him getting pulled away by Colorado and offer there. And I'm sure JSU made an effort, right? We should have known that something of that magnitude could happen also to our high caliber coach, right? And so what I would say to you is that part of that is it really relies on, AD Sykes. But I can tell you what I am most proud is that we stand as an alumni of a collective alum to be able to have some type of say into being able to support our AD, our coaches, football coaches, when it comes to this. So we have a little war chest, and I put this out prior. I said, we built a little war chest of money here. Sure, we want to add to it, right? And it's not saying it's going to do that, but we've done something and demonstrated that we can do this. And we need to continue to do this, because as we continue to win, and there are other programs that we have successful coaching in, we've got baseball, we've got track, we've got basketball, we've got all this stuff that we need to be able to defend and support. And I think that this will demonstrate what we need to do to be able to build that war chest. And I don't know where it's going. But, I was having a conversation today, and some people are sad, and we all are saddened about Coach Simmons leaving. But, in most cases, we learn from these opportunities. And this was a valuable exercise that Rattler Nation, and we will take this, we'll learn from this, we will grow from this, and we'll go from this. Because we know now that people are looking at us. We have a national brand. And we need to be able to put some monies together and have them set aside so that when that opportunity comes, as you say, it could be earlier. It could be like, wow, he just beat, won the classic. We just won the SWAC. Yeah, we need to start talking right away, right? So that part of that, I can't answer. I think that's an A/B question. When did they first learn of this stuff? I just know from outside of looking in. We beat Alabama State and we won the SWAC, and then we, did all this stuff. And it was just writing on the wall that, yeah, we got to be prepared for this. And so that's a question I can't answer. But what I can tell you is that I'm here to support it as a National Alumni Association, to say this is a vehicle, as well as the other direct support organizations. And I think what this is going to probably challenge us to do is to see how we work together.
Yes.
Right? And how do we help these other DSOs? I know some of their platforms. I don't know all of them, but we have been fundraising for many years at the NAA. So we have platforms already in place. So it was easy for us to hit the switch, communicate, put it out there, and we're in place, right? And so, we do this. This is what we do for scholarship for young people, and we award hundreds of thousands. I mean, we've already given $150,000 this year alone for young people at Florida A&M University through our National Scholarship Program. So that's what these chapters do. And somebody the other day said, well, what does the NAA do? Well, we help young people go to Florida A&M University that may not have a chance to go. We raise monies for them. And we do it in a lot of different ways. So it's these chapters, man. It's not me. It's the chapters. It's the people out here. It's them partaking of the fundraisers we do and contributing that we're able to do this. And I just want to thank Rattler Nation, right, and active alums and those that are not a part of NAA that they gave.
Well, thank you.
And again, I want to emphasize, and I'm not gonna hold Curtis to this, because we're gonna address a few things. You guys have questions. Say again what you just said about the NAA's role, because it is designed to help all. How many students do we have at Florida A&M? 9,000 something.
Yeah, close to that, right?
So again, the NAA's role, everybody, is to help all 9,000 students at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. This was a call to action specifically for the football program, using a tool, a vehicle, which was already pre-established. Right. So a lot of your questions that you have is not on the NAA and not on Curtis Johnson. We'll talk about where those things should be placed after we finish our conversation with Curtis. But again, the NAA, everybody. Right. Say that again. Say anything I missed there.
Like I said, we gave $150,000 in scholarships. So young people apply, right? We have the Save Our Student scholarship, which Greg Clark started, right? And so we had students in the middle of the semester. I get an email list from Vice President Hudson. It's like, hey, this student needs, $200 for a book fine, or $500 or whatever to stay in school. And we have a lot of students right now that are what I call unsheltered, right? And they need support, right? And we need to support these students, because if we don't, it negatively impacts Florida A&M University and our performance. And so we want to keep our students on track. We want to keep them moving through. These chapters recruit students, meaning that some of the times that people first learn of Florida A&M University is because somebody in a local community pulled some little kid aside and said, hey, you can go to school and let me tell you about Florida A&M University, right? And that's the first time. And so these chapters do this work. And then they not only recruit them and expose them to Florida University, they literally put them on a bus and bring them up here for spring preview and walk them around campus and show them all the glitz and glamour of the orange and green. And then that kid gets home and say, you know what? I love Florida University. I want to go, but my parents don't have money to send me. And that's when these chapters go in to figure out scholarship dollars. Is a kid, got a high academic standard, they can get some scholarships, but how do we fundraise to support our local kids, young people coming out of these communities at Florida University? And that's the work we do. And when we have conferences and we come together in Tampa, yeah, we're going to have a good time, but we're raising money so that we can give a national scholarship for kids that qualify that need some money to get through Florida University. And that's why I ask people to join the National Alumni Association. That's why I ask them to become life members, because once you get your life membership, it is a life insurance policy that lasts forever. And that money is restricted. It's over there in an interest-bearing account. And long after we have all departed this earth, those young people will continue to draw interest. We'll continue to draw interest to put in to fund our scholarship program. And that's what we do, right? We have a lot of fun. But we also are making sure that FAMU is forever. And that's why you need to become a member of the National Alumni Association.
Well said. Well said. Curtis, let people know where they can go to be a member, how they can, give the plugs, let people know where they can support. And again, give the early plug about the national convention this summer in Tampa.
Right. So go to FAMUNAA.org, FAMUNAA.org. Everything is there. The convention is there. We're going to be in Tampa, Florida, starting the last part of March 29th to June 2nd. We are really, all my focus right now is building that convention. We're going to have a lot of celebrity guests. We're going to start to release who's coming. There's some celebrities that live in Tampa. I'm sure that you guys know some of those guys. They're going to be a part of our convention. We're going to raise some money. We're going to cruise around Tampa Bay on a luxurious yacht. We got a few other great programming. We're going to raise money. And more importantly, we're going to have a good time, all for a cause of FAMUNAA.org. And if you've not become an annual member, which is less than $100, right? You become an annual member, or you become a life member, which is only a one-time commitment of $750. You can become a member of this organization, and your contributions will help support those students. And so I welcome those conversations. If you ever have any questions, my information is on the website. Feel free to reach out to me or the corresponding secretary. We will answer any and all questions. But again, this is not about me. I'm just so proud of Rattler Nation, right? Rattler Nation did this, not me. We're going to do more. We want to do more. And we're always looking for good people to be a part of the NAA, right? And let me just clarify this, and thank you for giving me 30 seconds on this. We don't work for the university. We're a 501c3 organization, and all of the officers, every last one of them, are volunteers. We have full-time jobs. We're moms, we're dads, we're grandparents. We got a full life, but we sign up for that extra call of duty and volunteer and raise our hands and say, hey, elect me to be your president or first vice president or whatever, because I'm willing to go the extra step. But we're all volunteers. And sometimes people, they ring the phone and, I get on my offices all the time. We signed up for this, so we have to answer the bell. But just know that we are here to support Florida University and support those students. And I just want to thank every last officer in throughout the NAA, either on the national board, if you're president, if you're region vice president, If you're just an annual member and serving in a local chapter somewhere in the United States, we have over 80 chapters. I just want to say thank you and Happy New Year. And I look forward to being your president as we come into this national convention in Tampa.
Looks like Kelvin's got one final question for you there, Curtis.
Oh, I'm here.
So I got 2 asks.
Okay.
Moving, and this is about moving forward.
Okay.
At the convention in Tampa, I hope that you all will put a segment together, a section, and I know you've done it before, that addresses athletic specifically.
Yeah.
And it'll talk about giving, strategic plans, capital athletic campaign. It'll have some teeth to it. Because I would tell you, one of the most disappointing things for me as a member, and you also have subscribing life membership too, which is what I'm doing now. But I've been a part of the NAA for since the 90s, right?
Now, Kevin, you better close that out because I'm about to go up on membership. I'm gonna tell you that too. We're going up to $1,000 for life membership, so you better close that out pretty soon. All right?
I saw that.
Okay.
Breaking news.
But that's fine.
Breaking news.
But that's fine. I'm in. But okay. I close it out shortly. But that being said, I hope that the Alumni Association will take the lead, because I know you all have done a lot of things outside of athletics, but you all have been the most visible consistently. You all in the 220 club, but in terms of assistant athletics, and I think a voice is needed to help guide and push the administration, the foundation, and which you sit on the board and structuring our support and our revenue arm giving, so that we can get to the point. Because on this show we talk about a lot, having a capital campaign, and you mentioned being a life member and how that lasts forever. And basically what you're talking about is a endowed scholarship. We should have endowed scholarships for athletics also, as well as those coaching positions. So I don't think Rattler Nation, because the universe has never really talked about and put that out there, I think we need that forum, and I think y'all are a perfect platform to do it, especially with what y'all have just done.
So let me tell you what we're doing. I'm so glad you brought that up. Number one, and even last year when the AD was brand new, we invited her to Schaumburg. She came. We had a town hall. Right. So that will definitely be a part of this. So we will give that forum to the athletic director to speak about, obviously, new programs, new things, new developments, etc. So you can count on that being a part of the NAA conference. Also, what's breaking news right here, Bryan, that you need to understand is that for the first time at this convention, all of the governing bodies are coming together. So I want to thank the chair of the Board of Trustees, Ms. Christian Harper. She's actually bringing the Board of Trustees meeting to the conference. So they'll probably start like on Wednesday and handle actual Board of Trustees meeting information. The foundation board will be meeting at this conference. The Rattler cluster, FAMU cluster, which is the business industries led by Ms. Cheryl Harris, right? They will be there. So we're bringing all the people under this theme of one FAMU, stronger together in the Bay. That's our theme. And so we literally are bringing all of these arms together. And for the first time, all of these entities. So some people who've maybe never been to a Board of Trustees meeting or seen one in live action, we will have a Board of Trustees meeting leading into the convention. It'll probably be that Wednesday, early Thursday, but there's Board of Trustee information in that will transpire. The foundation board will be meeting. The cluster, which brings in a lot of our industry partners, the corporate 500 companies, will be there. This is going to be quite the conference that you want to be at, and even as a Rattler. If you're looking just to network and connect and get that family feeling, you want to be in Tampa. And by the way, we just extended early registration because I felt so proud of what we've done, and I wanted to give Rattlers a little break to push it out. So those life members, go on the website. It tells you right up front. We've extended that deadline now to January 19th. So take advantage of it. We're adding a lot to this convention, and we're taking over Tampa. We're going to paint it orange and green. We're going to raise some money, and we're going to collect like none other. And your great ideas, that's going to be the environment to foster these conversations in. Thank you for bringing that up, Kelvin. I really appreciate that, because, that's a part that a lot of people, may have missed. There's never been a convention that you've had the board of all of your trustees of the university there. You got your foundation members. We've got some dynamic people doing work on these boards that you guys have no idea about, that you'll get a chance to see up front. And those meetings are open. So you can go sit in on the foundation meeting and the board of trustees meeting and hear what we talk about. That's the part of transparency that we're bringing, that we want people to know and see.
Awesome.
That's a great point. So this will be a great opportunity. Like we have long told people, don't sit in the chat rooms and just comment about things. You want to be a part of the process, go to the meetings, find an opportunity to speak, make your voice known. For far too long, we have sat back and commented on the side about this, that, and what they should be doing and what he and she should be doing. No, be involved in the process, whether it be
what we should be doing.
What we
should be doing.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
We got to unify.
Those meetings are free. Those meetings are free. You don't have to pay to get into those meetings. That's sunshine. That's open to the public. You are welcome to come and listen. It'll be broadcast online too, of course, right? So we broadcast those meetings. But if you're in Tampa and surrounding area, come, and then you get a chance to see your trustees and people up close. You get a chance to, break bread with them.
So let me say one other thing, Curtis.
Yes, sir.
I got to be fair. We consistent. We keep it real around here.
Let's keep it real. Come on.
One of the biggest disappointments I had in attending the conventions, as a registered person,
yes,
which turned me off for a while. But I'm going to register. I'm going to register. I'm going to beat it this one now.
Come on,
what is it? You come to the convention, and then it's a dog and pony show. Everybody kind of hiding. You control who can come to the mic and comment. And it doesn't feel like substantive things are done. You don't leave with a vision. The fundraising part is fine. You definitely raise money, but in terms of vision and actually pushing leadership and so forth, to me, that's the forum to do that kind of stuff.
Okay, let's figure out. Give me a chance to figure that out, right? So you do know, and I hear you. Well received. There are some things that we do need to hear from public comment from people, right? And try to find the right categories to put them in. But also, we have to also do the business of the NAA. Right? We got bylaw amendments, changes, things that are kind of outdated. We need to update in our bylaws. We have to vote on our budget, right? There's just some kind of semi-boring things that we have to do just to be able to do that. But I hear you loud and clear. And I think that what you're saying is you want some opportunities to have those conversations and interactions with those appropriate officials while they're there to voice those concerns. And so let me take that upon a challenge, and let me see if, we can make that commitment and keep that commitment this year in Tampa, Florida, and beyond.
Okay.
I accept that. Okay.
And hey, Curtis, we want to make sure we're there. We got a spot. We can come do our show. We can come do a show, maybe a couple of shows.
I want you to do that. I want you guys there to do your show, sit you up in the lobby overlooking the bay somewhere. I think that would be great. I think we need to really figure that out. So I'm going to reach out to our committee team and invite you in, because we need to make sure that we have some live feedback from people of their experience there, and that could really help. And let's get on that sooner than later, Bryan, and make sure that happens. I think that's welcome. And I want you also to interview some of our senior gems that have been an alumni for a long time, and share their thoughts and where we're going and growing in vision. Absolutely. I love it.
Yes, indeed.
We'd love to do it.
All right. Hey, thanks for your time this evening, Curtis. Again, thank you, FAMUNAA.org for everybody. And we'll continue the conversation here a little more coming up out of the break. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. Stay tuned.